This portion of the program is brought to you by NCA, National Certified Alarms. No long-term contracts. License number 645. Cold, nasty, in some places still dark and without power. You know what time it is.
When the weather weathers, we weather the storm. Bringing you fast and accurate Chapass reports with the weather wizard, Ken Weaver. Now it's time for the Chapass Report. Tell us about the Chapin Ken Chapass Report.
Chapass Report it is. So first and foremost, the press conference. What, did we learn anything new?
No. People are still going to be without power under Nashville Electric Service through the first part of next week. There is a emergency fund that is being set up through the United Way and Community Foundation to help Nashvillians, with their storm damage, losses, that sort of thing. The National Guard is and has been in Nashville and is helping in the restoration efforts. That's about it. Mayor O'Connell was asked, whether he thinks NES prep and response is adequate. He just went back to the fact, that it is it's a type of storm that, basically I'm trying to figure out how to say this. He did not say that they were not prepared.
He did was say a lot of things that meant nothing without throwing them under the bus. Well, they were...
And he's not going to do that. No. Mean... but these are questions that people want asked, and people want to know, what about the next one? When the next storm comes like this, what is being done? He said that there will be a period after we get through this restoration where they will go back and look at all this, see what could have been done better to make sure that it is done better in the future. But basically, he goes back that this is one of those generational storms that you're not just sitting there prepared for something like that. He said in terms of them bringing on other crews, to help with the restoration, he says they were prepared for that. But I think the follow-up question should have been, but should they have been better prepared?
Yeah.
Should they have had more crews available? Were they at their max?
That right there, and you know this, Ken, it's the second question. It's like boxing, right? You're jabbing, and then you're going to go in for something real when they leave you an opening. And that whole thing is, we get you. You can't prepare for what the nature thing is going to do.
Right.
But you should be prepared for as much as possible rather than unprepared. It's like you didn't study for the test.
Right.
And it's, like yesterday I heard you guys talking about the Artemis 2 because they're going to do a dry run. And I was watching some. They're spending every day in simulators, and all they're practicing for is everything going completely wrong when they're up in space.
That's what they're practicing for.
Well, that's some negative thinking.
But as they say, there's no AAA out there, so you're not pulling over.
Right.
So what are they doing? They're getting ready. They're understanding the worst case scenario. You plan for the worst case scenario as best you can, and I think everybody understands. It feels like they didn't take it that serious.
Yeah, Jeremy Finley was the one asking the most pointed questions, regarding were they prepared, what could have been done better. Channel 4's investigative reporter Jeremy Finley, and it's just it's something. The mayor's not going to throw NES under the bus. NES is definitely feeling the pressure, though, from its customers, and again. This isn't about the line crews out there who are working in these terrible conditions. This is about the leadership of NES and the decisions that were made. That's what everybody is frustrated with.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And, so we're just, the main takeaway from this is that, it looks like there are things in place that's going to help everybody recoup whatever losses they had. But the main question now is, how many Nashvillians are still going to go through the weekend and into next week without electricity? And that's all those people care about. Yeah. And there's still about 86,000 of them.
And there's we figured out 470,000 customers.
Right.
And you've got still about a quarter of the customers, almost, who are still without power.
Right. And it was announced that there was a fourth weather-related death here in Nashville, unfortunately.
Which you called earlier today when you and I were talking.
Yeah.
They're going to find somebody whose stuff didn't work eventually. They ran out of whatever they needed. And how old was he?
This man was 92 years old. Family had gone to check on him, and they found him deceased. He had a generator that was being powered with an extension cord.
Yeah.
And, without power, the generator's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work.
And it was 47 degrees in his home.
Oh.
So they didn't say what the cause of death was, but they're calling it a weather-related.
Yeah, I would assume probably that's it. So Ken will keep us abreast of the situation now. You've got stuff going on in there.
And it's going to be as far as the Chap-Ass report goes, we're looking at 24 degrees for the low tonight. Hopefully we get up to 33 tomorrow, but then we're down to the teens and single digits at night over the weekend. We will not get above freezing again until Monday.
Well. But the good news, right? I mean, it sounds horrible that the Carolinas are going to get crushed, but we're going to be fine as far as precipitation. It's just going to be cold, which means that it's still going to be slippery on the streets, well, in particular in certain areas, but it is not going to be, we're not going to get any more of that freezing rain or sleet or anything like that, which is the good news.
Yeah, nothing like that is in our forecast.
Yeah, so that is good news. All right, my man, appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken, the great Ken, the weather wizard, delivering that. He's got a lot of work to do as he tries to get ready for who knows what else is coming, man. It's you guys are frustrated out there. A lot of you who are listening and have been listening. By the way, you're powered. What are you listening to on a transistor radio? Some people got transistor radios probably still. Because we've got several listeners who haven't had power since Saturday, late Saturday and Sunday. And you don't feel like you're getting anything anytime soon, power-wise. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, and I want to see how fast they can get this stuff up. But, somebody just said it, the prevention.
I think you're seeing how fast they can get it up.
Well, they lit a fire under ass, but it still doesn't matter because it's only so fast you can work, and you were underprepared. And somebody said, they failed. What's the old saying? Fail to plan to fail. And if you didn't have enough when you knew it was coming, you didn't prepare strong enough when you knew it was coming, as if you thought, well, maybe it's not going to happen. Don't turn on. We don't need to look at the weather. We're going to be fine. That lands in leadership. And like I said, it's not the linemen, right? It's not them. It's not the people out there busting their ass out there in the midst of it all.
24/7 lately.
Yeah.
In the bitter cold.
It's not them. But
their leadership sure failed them.
Absolutely. When you're understaffed and overworked, that is not a good look at all. A lot of you chiming in about all kinds of stuff we were talking about last hour. Some people still, look at this, Patsy G, listening on a translator radio. And somebody's listening on the app. Thank you for that. Some of you are still mad at me about tariffs. What did I say about tariffs? Did I say something about tariffs?
The wrong thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
You did not say the thing that they like.
About tariffs. I'm trying to figure out what I said something about tariffs, I think. I'm not quite sure what it was. But
it's probably just somebody who thinks that the tariffs are not embedded in the cost and passed along to the consumer, who is us.
Yeah. So, here he goes. I've tried multiple times to listen to your ignorant narratives in the afternoon hours. The more you speak, especially concerning your perception of who pays taxes and the tariff situation, the more obvious it is that you don't know what you're talking about. The sooner Cumulus, that's us, takes you off the air, the better this radio station will perform in the ratings. You speak from inexperience and ignorance. It's just fact. No.
Who's speaking from ignorance?
Right. Go look at every study that's been done about tariffs. And by the way, we had our trade deficit in October and November were massive. What? Yeah. That's not good. And who pays for it? when you look at it. And as far as taxes, the tax debate, guys, let's stop pretending. Yeah, well, the top, so-and-so, yeah, we get it. The wealthy they pay a lot. They do. But when you look at a percentage of what they pay, why is that? Because they help write all of these laws, and the laws are massive. And what happens there when you write all those laws? Those laws they put in place, do you think they do that so that, like, we should give more money to people? No, they don't. They don't. And so throwing you a crumb while they take the entire sandwich and saying you're lucky, I care about all of us when it comes to that. And, I've got some stupid wealthy that many people can't even begin to think about. One of my buddies sold his company, him and his two buddies, for $4 billion. He did more than all right. He's laughing. He goes, you can tax me 100%. You're not going to get a penny out of me. You're not going to get a penny out of me. And so there, it's this whole thing. When the tariff side of stuff, again, I laugh at that because go look at the actual numbers. And our deficit isn't going down, right? Our debt isn't going down, especially when you decide you're going to spend almost double what you were spending when it comes to military.
It's almost like it's become a contest between these two parties as to who can spend more.
Yes. So worry about all of us. You sound like a liberal. Well, because I care that, the average person does well. How is that? Why is that a liberal thing? Well, that you care about what the average person does. Yeah, you care whatever. Yes, I do. That's what I should do, right? Doesn't mean I have to like you.
Just don't forget, your favorite politician loves you.
And if you could please give $5, that'd be great. Be solid there. So this weekend's going to be interesting because the cold weather, we're just looking at the cold weather rolling in, and it's going to be cold. And like Ken said, we're not going to get above freezing up and through Monday, and really Friday into Saturday it's going to start. We're going to have single digits overnight, and it feels like it's going to be. But the good news is no real chance, I think, it's snow. They say we could get a dusting tomorrow, but not what we had. And what we had last week, the snow wasn't the bad thing. It was the cold snap that came afterwards, and then that freezing rain that came, and then again another cold snap, and then the next thing you know, you've got icicles everywhere, which was hilarious. When I looked at Ken's car the other day, he had icicles all over his car. And I was like, my goodness. Your car's not been there that long. The guy that parked straight across from me, his car is covered in ice. And I'm just, whoa. That is, still out there. So it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be that nastiness that we had last week, which is good. I just spoke to my buddy, and he's texting me because he's a little military guy, very, very big military guy. And we've been talking about he's given me some insight of what might be happening this weekend potentially, because Trump has came out and he's weighing strikes on leadership and nuclear sites in Iran, and apparently the impromptu, I guess they were, those protests, they're starting up again, and the leaders over there, they feel like Trump's not going to do anything, and he's got the armada there. And, are we going to blockade the Straits of Hormuz? Is there going to get something this week? And I have a feeling it's going to be that. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up, as well as more on, obviously, NES. We're taking some of your text messages. You can tweet at us, at Chad Benson Show is me. Check us out across all social media. If you're on YouTube and you might be telling me how much I suck, good to see you. But at least make sure you like. That's the least you could do, right? The least you could do. And remember, guys, we got curling coming up. So if you want to come yell at me, what a great time to do that. When we're throwing around 40-pound balls or whatever those things are called. Stones.
Polished.
That's right. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Oh, it's all happening. So, Trump talking about Iran and what will happen there. So I reached out to my Pentagon folk, and I said, what's the deal? Give me a little something. He said, first strike may come this weekend, as early as this weekend. And their aim is try to decapitate, and all targets will be open. So the problem with first of all, Trump painted himself into a corner where he told the protesters, "We're coming for you. We're coming to help you." Right? That help's on the way. Which that's you put yourself in that position. Then you told them, we're not going to do anything because they said they've stopped executing people, and they're like, "How would you know?" Right? What's going on behind closed doors? And when we first started talking about this, remember 2 weeks ago, Iran had killed over that weekend like 200, and then it was 400, then it was maybe 2,000. Now they're up over 30 potential thousand. But it always goes back to this. To have regime change in Iran, how are you going to blow up enough people that are the bad folk, and somehow magically somebody inside of there is going to be the leader? And I've been asking him, regime change sounds great, but what regime are you going to get? Because the young want regime change. They've only ever known this, right? They didn't know what it was prior to this. They've lived under this oppression and insanity and, starvation at times. And right now they've got no water there. They've lived under this, and they're over it. They don't remember the before times, as I like to call it. And so you've got this country that is really young with the old running everything, and who's going to run it next? Because they would like, I'm sure, to pick their own leader, and we, and Israel in particular, would like to pick their leader for them. And what he told me is one of the reasons that it didn't happen sooner is Israel said that, look, they're not as weak as maybe we were thinking, because they have some people on the inside. But I just don't know who is going to lead them. And the other side of it is, if it's going to be a real regime change, at some point in time, the army is going to have to take up with the protesters. And that leads to civil war, and civil war leads to chaos, and that's not a good thing. Because we see Libya, see Syria, see how those things have gone. Not well, that's for sure. How about some good news, people? I like good news. Good news makes us smile.
Among the 25 movies being added to the National Film Registry, John Carpenter's 1982 alien horror movie, The Thing. Also on the list, martial arts classic The Karate Kid.
Wax on, wax off.
Christopher Nolan's mind-bending action movie Inception.
You create the world of the dream.
And The Grand Budapest Hotel.
She's been murdered. And you think I did it?
Director Wes Anderson says research for that movie, set at a Swiss resort in the 1930s, began at the Library of Congress.
I have to... Wes Anderson? The Budapest Hotel? I don't know about that one. Going into the Library of Congress. I don't know about that. The Thing, I like.
Who makes those decisions?
That's a good question. They probably vote on it.
They have like a little committee.
Until Trump finds out, and then they'll fire them all. And he's like, I'm going to pick all these movies.
I have to be in it or it doesn't count.
That's right. It's going to be great. The only movies are allowed to go. Was he in 2?
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2. It's the greatest movie. That thing needs to go in the archives. They probably have a board of people that sit around and decide, what movies should or shouldn't go in. I tell you who it's not. It's not the NFL it's not the Football Hall of Fame.
If they put Budapest in there, somebody was eating a gummy while they were voting.
Yeah, that movie, his movies are weird. His movies are odd. They are very odd. A bunch of comedies went in.
The oldest film being added to the National Film Registry is The Tramp and the Dog from 1896, one of several comedies at the time where characters lost their pants in a genre that was known as pants humor.
Sensational.
High Society is on the list of inductees as well. The 1956 musical comedy pairs up Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, and Frank Sinatra. And for more modern audiences, there's always 1995's teen comedy Clueless, starring Alicia Silverstone.
So that's going in there? Clueless is going in? Karate Kid's going? I could see the Karate Kid. Clueless didn't have as much staying power as the Karate Kid. They've got TV shows on Netflix. That thing, all kinds of staying power. They've had other movies.
Hey, Clueless is getting a single, so you hush your mouth.
Clueless is?
Yes.
Is getting a what?
A sequel.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone was on one of the Sirius XM talk shows talking about how they finally decided to do it.
What was it? And I was
Plus, it had a TV show for a while.
What was I telling you earlier, too? We were just talking about Jennifer Grey the other day and her nose. Get ready for this, Ken. There's going to be a Dirty Dancing 2 with her in it.
You can't put Baby in a Dirty Dancing 2.
No, there is.
Especially when there's no Patrick Swayze to put in Dirty Dancing 2.
Well, I bet you somewhere in there, she probably has her daughter who wants to dirty dance as well. And her daughter happens to be Patrick's daughter. But he's no longer with us because he's danced himself to the grave. So everybody's getting a sequel. Hollywood's run out of ideas. I'm interested. How the hell Clueless is going to have a sequel? What is that going to be like?
We don't have a clue.
She's nominated for the Supreme Court and still stupid.
Wasn't that that was a different movie. What was that one called? Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Right? Legally Blonde.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. All right, coming up, Ken's got all your news, especially when it comes to what's going on out there, weather-wise, NES, and everything else. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7. Somebody's all, did you just share info? No, it's info we've talked about before. He said he thinks if it's going to happen, Strait of Hormuz first, and then, on to the bombing in Iran. Trump's out there talking about it. So it's not like it's super secret. Everybody knows that come on. Trump's sitting there and go, I'm going to bomb you. Like, it's not really like we're hiding any of this. And so it's not, and he's already said everything's open as far as a fight was, but it's always about regime change there. Regime change. And I don't know what that is going to look like. Somebody said they're going to wait till their crazy high electric bill next month. And they didn't even have power. Man, that's the other thing. What does that look like? Some of these people out there who the cost of so much of this stuff is going up, and what gas prices have come down. Heating oil, nat gas is starting to take off.
Have you seen the X post that a guy put up of a woman complaining that when Biden was around, she could get $70 to $80 worth of gas into her truck. And now that Trump's in office, she can only get $54 of gas in her truck.
Right there, somebody should come. They should hit you with a stick and take away your license and your vehicle. I was showing you some earlier. Chad Prather, whatever it is. There's a guy.
We got the CEO of NES answering questions.
Let's listen to some of that. Here, let's listen to that.
Power would have been back in a matter of hours. But with the blow this storm delivered to Nashville, that just was not feasible. I want to thank everyone who is helping NES crews get this job done. Thanks to the mayor and so many other governmental leaders and community leaders who are ensuring that our customers stay safe during this difficult time without power. Have restoration efforts gone perfectly? No, not under these unprecedented circumstances with this level of unprecedented damage. I wanted to mention the maps that we have available on our website. We have an outage map. It shows current outages. We also have a map that shows crew locations. Those are up to date. Those feed from our operational systems and are an up-to-date source of information for customers. But we do get questions. We've had a lot of questions of late. Customers frequently ask, I'm out of power, but my neighbors across the street have power. Why is that? Is there something wrong? The truth is our grid is not designed on neighborhoods. It's designed on circuits. So you can have two homes in the same neighborhood that are on different circuits. And those circuits may have sustained different levels of damage, different numbers of trees and poles down, so it's easier to bring some of them back up than others. Our pledge is to keep working around the clock until the job is done. The customers are our number one priority. We say that all the time, that every decision we make needs to come back down to the customer. So we are doing everything we can to bring customers back on. We are all in this together. We are Nashville strong. And we will do our best to keep you updated on progress. We have a plan for getting additional information out in pretty short order. I'm going to ask Brent Baker to update you on some of our operational plans and communications.
Want to stick with it?
So that's the CEO right there.
That was the CEO.
Thank you,
Here's the Vice President of Operations, Brent Baker.
Get this information out. I'm going to share the latest numbers of power restoration progress made in the last day and make sure we get that information out as crews continue to work 14 to 16 hours around the clock in frigid weather. Those men and women are extremely tough and dedicated to this community. But first, let's address a topic that was put under the spotlight yesterday, and let's clear it up once and for all. 1 or 2 anonymous workers contacted a local media outlet saying they were turned away from helping with Nashville's power restoration. Let's be clear. It's absolutely vital to have the right support and crews to undo the damage delivered by Sunday's storm. Nashville was slammed. Poles were broken like toothpicks. Trees exploded, landing on top of our infrastructure, on top of the wires. Due to the vast area hit by this storm, the storm went all the way from New Mexico to the East Coast. Utilities were preparing across the country for this event, and we all were sharing our resources and letting us know where all of our people were. As soon as the storm went through, we were all communicating where it was needed most, and of course Nashville was where that was. That is how we increased the crews so quickly, as soon as those companies were able to release their crews. At the same time, it's very important that we follow a vetting process that all utilities follow to keep all workers safe during restoration. The vetting ensures workers are skilled and with good safety protocols. When onboarding, we ensure that contractors are qualified and that they have an NES hazardous safety professional with them. This is one of our own employees that goes around with them to make sure they are safe in this event as we continue to add numerous employees. This is essential to keeping everyone safe. So, with the goal is to complete power restoration, we have to make sure we do not sacrifice the safety of our crews, and we will not take shortcuts just to add more crews and to make sure we get that done faster. And we will not take a chance of someone not going home to their family after this event. So yes, we will only bring in crews who are fully vetted and approved to safely work on our system, and we will continue to add crews as we have all throughout this week, and to have clearance that is safe to add more crews. We are now at a capacity that is higher than we had ever had at Nashville Electric Service at a number of crews. The point of all of this is to be able to get our customers restored as we continue to grow our staff, and we will continue to do so at scale. Now, I do want to take a look at some of the numbers that we have. We have restored 144,000 customers since the start of the ice storm. We started with 230,000 customers, and we're now down to 86,000 customers without power. That's a 63% restoration. There are 444 broken poles that we have found so far, and that number continues to grow. We have fixed 107 of those poles. 1,004 line workers are on our system, and we're moving to 1,084 at the end of the night tonight, and continue to grow. We have 257 vegetation management personnel, an increase of 42 since yesterday, and 450 NDOT, TDOT, and TEMA National Guard that are here helping us clear the roadways to make sure we can do restoration. And we have 180 assessors out assessing the damage. That assessment is key to getting the information that we all want to provide to the customers. We are at 80% of our system assessed, and that is what is going to help us get that information to our community about the details within neighborhoods. At this time, I want to show a little bit of information about some of what we have shown on the restoration so far and the maps that we have. Behind me, we now have added to the outage map, and we've created a map that does show where we have restored and where we are still restoring. We have truck IDs on this map. I want to keep in mind that these are the trucks that we can have digital information on, and we have enough information. As we continue to add crews, not every one of those crews is digitally located. That is one of the challenges with some of the information you see us providing, is getting those crews here fast enough to work. It's more important for them to drill holes and set poles than for us to have a digital connection to them. We will continue to make sure they're integrated, and we can show you how many people are on our system. On the right side, we wanted to be able to show neighborhoods and how much we are restoring. We are now familiar with how many poles are damaged in each neighborhood, and we'll be providing this information on our website so that you can have that information and our customers can find that regularly. Our next goal is to be able to provide that estimated restoration time, and we are heading that way quickly, and we want to provide that in very short order.
All right, so that there is NES Vice President of Operations Brent Baker, and as you just heard, they are not yet prepared to estimate full restoration, but that they will be bringing on more than 1,000 line crews by tonight to help with the restoration. He said they have found more than 400 broken poles. They have repaired more than 100 of them, but it is a tedious process in order to get those. You got to drill, then get the poles in, then get the lines on them.
And you know what, Ken, yesterday, 2 linemen out there text the show, and they were telling us how many poles were down, and they said they didn't have enough poles. They didn't think ahead and to get enough poles already. So that was part of the problem they were talking about. But some of you, the minute you heard Nashville Strong, the text messages flooded in of how angry people were.
Cringe.
Yeah, a lot of talking around.
Well, it was an excuse conference.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if you're one of the 86,000 people who have been freezing in your own home since Saturday, you don't want to hear that.
No. And we don't want to see a map. And you saw, Ken came up to me today and he goes, dude, you got to listen. He goes, NES's new thing is there's not talking about how many people still don't have power. They talk about how many people they've restored power to, because it makes it seem like, ooh.
Right. Don't try to sugarcoat this in any way.
Yeah.
The fact that you have restored how many ever they said, over 100,000, thank you for doing your job.
Yeah.
That's good.
Poorly, but thank you for doing your job.
That's good, but we still have 86,000 people out there who don't have it, and they've already said earlier today that many of those Nashvillians are going to go without electricity through the weekend and into next week.
I wish somebody would just come up and go, you know what, guys? We underestimated this. We jacked the pooch. This we should have handled this better. This was something that we should have handled better. We didn't have enough crews. When I think we estimated it was going to be like this, and this is what you do in this business. And somebody comes out and says that, and it rather than Nashville Strong.
Yeah.
Did anybody's power come on when they said that?
Yeah.
I think that line moved off my car. Hey, Ken, what was the guy's name? That was just
that's Brent Baker.
Oh, that's the guy that said he would come on Matt's show yesterday and then bailed out and said nothing.
Yes.
Nashville Strong. That stuff right there, though, that infuriated so many of you, and rightfully so. I don't want to hear any crappy things. What I want to hear is just give us an estimate. Tell us the bad news. We're adults. We can handle it.
We know you're freezing, but here's a platitude to keep you warm.
Nashville Strong, is that doing anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing is going to be said to make these people feel any better until their power is back on.
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing you're going to say. The once in a generation storm. Oh, we got so many trees down, so many power poles down. That does not matter to people who are sitting in freezing temperatures right now.
No, doesn't matter one bit. Somebody just said, I haven't had power in 5 days. Well, hey, Nashville Strong. Does that do anything for you?
And again, nobody is pointing at the line crews out there in this weather. It's these two people right here that everybody's looking at, the CEO and then the Vice President of Operations, the CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin.
Yeah, I couldn't say. I was like, is it Broyles? Is it Applin? You know what? This reminds me of, there's a famous saying that we used to say when I lived in England and one of my coaches said this, we fight like lions. Unfortunately, we're led by donkeys. And I think that's apropos right there. You got the linemen out there fighting like lions. And what do you have in front of everybody? Donkeys. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Matt's going to come on in here. I see him there. He's got a vest. No vest today, but he does have a hoodie on because that's how he rolls. He's very sharp today with his hoodie. Matt's right ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.